Welcome to the Double E Show. Bad strategy, horribly simulated. What's going on, everybody? Jebba73, back with the Double E Show. It's Lamplight City. Welcome back to our steampunk, alternate, past reality, futuristic, with a twinge of mystery game. Okay, so when we left off in the last episode, we had been thrown out of the Voodoo Shack. Actually, we got thrown out of our main suspect's mother's home. And so we're going to head over to the university and talk to the love interest of our main suspect, who happens to be the daughter of the attempted victim. There we go, we'll do that. Right?
Oh, it's as though we've journeyed to the tropics. I don't know how you can stand to keep that coat on in here.
So, Juliet Montgomery. And actually, is there anything I need to... No, that's okay.
Pardon the disturbance, but are you Juliet Montgomery?
I am. And you are?
Miles Fordham. I'm a private investigator looking into the events surrounding your mother's attempted murder.
Ah, of course.
Have you got time to answer some questions?
Yes, that shouldn't be a problem.
Cool. So,
So, you study botany. Fascinating subject.
Are you an admirer of plants, Mr. Fordham?
My wife has the green thumb in the household, but I do have a certain appreciation for them.
Plants are amazing things, just like people in many ways.
How do you mean?
They need attention and care. Ignore a plant, and it will wither. Give it too much attention, and it will become sick. Plants have many things to teach us, and I greatly enjoy learning from them.
cool.
These plants are impressive. Are they yours?
Yes, I've developed a method to make them extra healthy and strong.
They're larger than anything I've ever seen. How do you do it?
Ah, but I can't reveal my secrets, Mr. Fordham. The world will hear about my discoveries soon enough.
Incidentally, do you know anything about Easter lilies?
No, I don't keep or grow those here.
Cool. Okay, let's talk about Albert.
What can you tell me about Albert Martin?
I'm not quite sure where to begin.
Why not start by telling me what your relationship with him was?
We met here at the greenhouse. He was working as an assistant, sweeping and cleaning and fetching things for the students. My focus was on academics, naturally. I wasn't too interested in romance. In fact, I've had to turn away nearly every single one of my classmates. But with Albert, I found myself intrigued. I noticed him stealing glances, lingering just a bit too long after bringing over a book or flask, sweeping the same patch of floor near me over and over again. It wasn't too long before I had him bringing me tools and equipment, regularly.
I see.
Mother was an absolute terror when she found out.
Do you believe Mr. Martin did what he stands accused of?
I'm not entirely sure. It doesn't seem like him, but Albert can be quite passionate. If the police believe he's to blame, then they must have a reason for it. It wasn't any secret that he hated Mother. Perhaps I should have ended things sooner. It was satisfying to know that Mother was displeased, but I never imagined it would lead to something like this.
Well, it's nice to see she's all heart.
Okay, so the only problem I have is that during the questioning, when she was talking about the plants and all that other stuff, she was looking dead ahead. But whenever she talked about Albert, she looked off to the left as though she were hiding something.
Do you know anything about the events leading up to your mother's premature interment?
No, it was a complete shock. Mother seemed to be perfectly healthy and full of life. Then, without warning, she was dead. Or so we thought.
I take it you were glad to be wrong?
What a ridiculous question. Of course I was. What sort of heartless beast would celebrate their mother's death?
Oh, I could name a few. Juliet definitely didn't shed any tears over Madame Dupree, though. That much is obvious.
Miss Montgomery, you don't have to lie to me. I'm not going to assume you tried killing your mother just because you weren't upset by her death.
I felt terrible about it. You have to understand, I didn't want her to be dead. I just felt a sense of relief. Please, don't think me a horrible person, Mr. Fordham. It's just that Mother and I aren't currently on the best of terms.
Okay, so it just happens to be maybe what
Why
they
don't you and your mother get along?
programmed her
We've
to
never
do.
completely seen eye to eye on anything. She always disapproved of anything I did. When I was younger, she used to forbid me from speaking to the servants. I saw no harm in a kind word or smile, but she warned us that if we were too familiar, they would take liberties. Then when I declared my intentions to pursue academic studies, she really went livid. In her opinion, a university education was tantamount to a chastity belt. What sort of man would want a wife with a head full of useless facts, she'd say.
Personally, I've always found intelligence to be quite attractive.
I'm not sure how she managed to find out about Albert and me, but when she did, she nearly had a conniption. As I'm sure you can understand, the situation at home has been less than perfect in the last few months. I'd really rather not dwell on it.
You mentioned you were friends with the servants.
Yes, that's right. I didn't care that they worked for us. Everyone needs a friend.
Did your mother ever mistreat them?
Mistreat? No, I wouldn't say so. She was always very stern, though, and quite cold. If they ever shirked their duties or misbehaved, they were punished, of course, but nothing out of the ordinary that I ever saw. Most of the servants are my friends, but I'm closest with Amelie, the kitchen maid. Mother wasn't too happy about that. Amelie's been around as long as I can remember. She's like the aunt I never had.
No more questions for now.
Then if you don't mind, I have work to do.
Okay, I don't really feel like I learned a whole lot about this contraption.
Judging from that pipe, that contraption must be used to keep the plants hydrated. But it looks like a giant earwax remover to me.
Yep.
I've never seen a flower grow that big. What do you suppose they're feeding them?
Right?
Those flowers are definitely not native to this area. They seem to be thriving in their glass tubes, though.
Anything else? Anything else?
Quite the assortment of plants they keep in here. I wonder if they serve any purpose or are just meant to look pretty.
Right?
One of those cute little Japanese trees that are all the rage these days. Personally, I don't see how giving a tree a haircut is meant to be relaxing.
Okay, I think that's it. Alright. So we'll hop out to this view, right? And we'll come up here to the case book. So, did Albert Martin really do what he is accused of and cause Madame Laura Dupree to almost be interred alive? Or is it someone else, right? Question residents of Dupree Manor. That's the last thing left. Suspects, documents, message from Upton. Oh, okay, no, never mind. Clues, no, okay. So, question residents of Dupree Manor. So let us head there now.
You are aware this is private property, sir?
Yes, I'm Miles Fordham, private investigator. I'm looking into the incident involving Madame Dupree. I assume this is she?
You assume correctly, Mr. Fordham. My apologies, but I thought the police had already made an arrest.
That's right, but there's still some doubt as to the man's guilt. May I ask your name, sir?
I am Dr. Fellows, Madame Dupree's private physician. I'm afraid she is in no state to be answering questions at present.
Are any other members of the family home?
Her son, Mr. Montgomery, is in the entrance hall. I had to give him a mild sedative to settle his nerves, but he should be all right to converse.
Then if you don't mind, I'll have a look around.
Right on. Okay, so let's look at the fountain.
This fountain probably looked nicer when it was working, but right now it's just a breeding ground for mosquitoes.
Okay, so she's having financial woes.
With her vast sums of wealth, Madame Dupree could probably feed a starving family for the next 30 years. Instead, she uses the money to keep her hedges trimmed.
So the hedges are trimmed, but the fountain isn't working. Interesting. Madame Dupree.
Her eyes are glazed over, and she's got a vacant, expressionless stare. She seems completely oblivious to her surroundings. If we didn't know she'd been buried alive, I'd say she was just exhibiting the typical symptoms of your average rich person.
Right? Okay, anything else here? Nope, okay, let's go into the hall.
Oh, hello. Are you the new servant?
No, I'm Miles Fordham. I'm a private investigator looking into your mother's attempted murder.
How did you know I was her son? Oh, of course. You must have sensed it with your detective's intuition. I should have guessed by that giant head of yours.
Are you feeling all right, Mr. Montgomery?
Yes, I'm fine. Much better than when those pesky police officers were snooping around earlier. But I like you, Mr. Fordham. I can already tell you're not like them at all. Please, call me Andrew.
Yes. Well, I'll have a look around, and I may need to ask you some questions. Do you think you can handle that?
I can. In fact, I really look forward to it.
If the good doctor gave him a mild sedative, I'd hate to see what the stuff you take would have done to him.
Lit like a Christmas tree.
Beautiful parrot. Must have cost the Duprees a cool copper.
Okay.
Who's a pretty bird?
Ray's a pretty bird.
Polly want a cracker?
No, thank you.
Pieces of 8?
Aye, matey.
So long, Birdie.
Bye-bye.
Interesting. Okay. Let's take a look.
Duprey looks like she's holding on to that poor bastard for dear life.
Right? Okay. That's upstairs to the garden. Anything in here? To the kitchen. Let's. Oh, the cook. Let's go in here. See if we can find the cook. Emily, right on. Okay, so let's talk with her.
Pardon me, miss.
What? Who are you?
I'm Miles Fordham. I'm investigating the attempted murder of Madame Dupree.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir, but I'm very busy. I can't help you.
Amelie, please. I need to know what you know about Madame Dupree.
What? How did you know my name?
Juliet told me about you.
Miss Juliet?
Yes, I spoke to her at the university. She mentioned you two were friends.
Yes, that's right. She's always been so good to me.
Look, Amelie, I'm just trying to get some information. And I have a feeling you can be very helpful if you'd just let me talk to you.
All right, fine. But do it as fast as you can.
All right. So let's start off by asking about her
Are
shop.
you the only remaining servant here?
No, there's another one. Marcel. He's the new gardener. I haven't seen him in a few days, though. Not since before Madame's incident.
Interesting.
What do you know about Juliet?
She was always so kind to me and the others, but her mother don't like that one bit. Still, she sneaks down into the kitchen to keep me company some nights. Even though she's a good soul, I think part of her does it just to spite her mother.
Okay. Let's ask.
What can you tell me about Andrew?
He ain't so bad. Kinda spoiled, but he mostly cleans up after himself. Has a whole private part of the house, but I think he only uses one room. Better for me, way less to clean.
Right? Okay. No matter.
Tell me about Madame Dupree.
Oh, I really shouldn't, sir.
It would greatly help my investigation if you did.
Madame Dupree was kind enough to hire me as her cook. It's hard to get jobs in the city. Lots of people want their servants to use those new machines. My sister's brother-in-law got half his leg blown off by one of those new ovens. He's lucky he wasn't killed. So I'm plenty happy working here doing real people's work. But Madame can be difficult sometimes.
Difficult? What do you mean by that?
No, I said enough.
What do you know about Madame Dupree's supposed death?
All I can tell you is that whoever did it really hated her.
Do you know Albert Martin, the man accused of the crime?
No, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Amelie. I appreciate your time.
You're welcome. Now please, let me get back to work.
Of course. Of course. So let's look at the counter.
It's times like these make me wish I could still eat.
Okay. So stove. Right.
Looks like the type of spices you'd use in a stew. Most likely paprika or turmeric. Nice variety of reds and oranges.
Right. Okay.
Judging by the amount of food this family probably eats, washing the dishes must take forever.
Right. Okay. That's what.
Yeah, it looks like gumbo's on the menu tonight. I wonder how it compares with Upton's special recipe.
Right. Okay.
Some kind of water dispensing device, maybe? I was never very good at finding my way around the kitchen.
Okay.
Certainly no shortage of bowls or food preparation items around here.
Okay. That it? That is it. Okay. So, I'm going to check upstairs, and then I'm going to talk to Andrew. What do we have? We have
A
figurine.
horrible little porcelain figurine. Madame Dupree didn't strike me as the type to play with dolls.
Okay.
Nice bouquet of roses, although it would make things much easier if they were Easter lilies.
If only.
Ah, the Gascon docks. The artist definitely took some liberties. You can't see a single person getting stabbed.
All right, there's a door, and there's a doorway.
Must be nice being able to afford keeping your oil lamps lit during the daytime.
Right? Okay, let's go into here.
Goodness, someone went overboard with the flowers. This brings back some memories, doesn't it?
Ones I'd rather forget.
Right?
Why would anyone need so many flowers in one room?
Perhaps it's to mask the odors of those chemicals on the workstation.
Could be.
Right, so let's take a look at that workstation, shall we? So we have vigor
Dr.
pills?
Tennyson's vigor pills. These would make a sloth act like a hummingbird.
Okay.
A gentle reminder that everyone's time is slowly running out. Is this really the best that medical science has to offer? What in the ether is that thing supposed to be? Actually, I'd rather not know.
Okay.
Decadent. I can only wonder what sort of potions Andrew concocts in this thing.
These should be useful.
Okay. I'm not sure why they should be useful.
The
but-
science of pharmacology. I'm sure it's riveting stuff. It looks as though this folded piece of paper is being used as a bookmark.
Okay.
The science of pharmacology. I'm sure it's riveting stuff. I hope remembering what page they were on wasn't too important.
Looks like it's a letter for Andrew.
Andrew, enclosed is the agreed upon fee. I wouldn't be able to concentrate on exams without this help. Dr. Tennyson charges an obscene amount. Thank goodness for good people like you with home pharmacies. I'll look for them in the usual spot under the Weeping Angel, Joshua. P.S. Sorry to hear about your mother. I'll wait a few days before passing by. Okay, so there's a spot with a Weeping Angel. So he's selling drugs to his classmates so they can study. That's a modern day concern, which is odd. Okay, let's go casebook. Let's see here. Tweezers, a useful tool for reaching things too small for human hands to reach, or for plucking those pesky long eyebrow hairs. Okay. Letter to Andrew. Okay. Alright, so I still got to question him. Let's exit. Yeah, we'll go this way.
Yeah, it must be a nice place to sit and listen to music. Oh, look! It's one of those new audio cylindergraphs. I can't quite wrap my head around how they can manage to get sound out of a wax cylinder.
Right? Interesting. Okay. Whoops. Okay. Back to the doorway. In this door.
Well, someone's fancy. I never liked these types of beds much. They feel too claustrophobic.
I always thought they had a certain appeal myself.
Yes, you would think that about a bed that lets you shut out the rest of the world. Nice little cottage. Looks like it would make a nice cozy spot to retire. If I hadn't already retired from life, that is.
Jeez.
Juliet really likes plants and flowers, doesn't she?
So this must be Juliet's room. Okay.
I've never seen so many beauty products together in one place. Doesn't look like they get used much, though.
Locked. I suppose I shouldn't be surprised.
Okay.
Let's have a look through these papers. Aha, what's this?
Dear Miss Montgomery, unfortunately I've been informed of a series of burglaries in the neighborhood near the room you're renting from me at 76 Forest Lane. As a precaution, I've gone ahead and changed the locks. Please find enclosed a copy of your new key. I hope this doesn't cause you too much of an inconvenience. Edwina Crestfell. Why is she renting an apartment, A, off campus, and B, away from home when she's got a perfectly good home here?
So, Juliet is renting a room in the Chum. That's certainly interesting. I can't wait to see what sort of dirty secrets she's got hidden away in there.
Right? So, investigate the rented room at 76 Forest Lane. Of course we will. No. Oh, right-clicking, I guess, does that.
Locked. I suppose I shouldn't be surprised.
Okay, so is there anything else in here? There's not. Okay, let's go out of here. So if that's Juliet's room, this must be Andrew's room. Or not.
A much younger Madame Dupree. I suppose that's a nice alternative to a mirror. That's an old uniform, from the turn of the century by the look of it. This must be Madame Dupree's first husband. Kinda strange that she'd still keep his portrait in the bedroom. Ooh, a fainting couch. You know, I always wanted one of these, but I never fainted enough to justify buying one.
The Parson of Crook Hall. Convent of the Damned and Other Short Stories. The Chestertons, A Brief History. 1680 to 1760. 1760 to 1810. Choice and Consequence. Equestrian Mesmerism. Buffalo Skinner, A Wild Man's Tale.
Choice and Consequence. Who in their right mind would write a book about that?
Right.
Doesn't appear to be very brief if there's 2 volumes of it. I wonder if anyone outside the family would find this even remotely interesting. Now that one sounds interesting. I was always a fan of Bedletter's short stories. One of those melodramatic romances. I read it a while back and I couldn't tell you a thing about it.
I'm looking at the
I don't even want to know what that one's about. I read that one last year. If you ever wanted to know the intimate details of a buffalo's anatomy, I highly recommend it.
So is that it? Is that everything on here? Okay. So... no. All the same books. Okay. There's a note.
It would appear that Madame Dupree was taking music lessons.
Her current predicament has probably put an end to that venture, though.
Okay.
Seems Madame Dupree fancies herself a poet.
To dream, O Morpheus, caress my cheek, bring forth the soothing visions, give me strength when I am weak, allow me some provisions. In your domain I am as a queen, controlling all I see and hear. I've traveled places I've never been, and know not the meaning of fear. Laura Dupree. The Dove. The dove is pure, serene, and pale, a glowing angel in the sparkling sky. Its gentle coos, unlike the wail of the cursed crow that will not die. Protect the dove from grim defeat. Let it remain in gentle flight, for when the crow's allowed to eat, it covers the world in eternal night. Actually, not bad.
Well, that was life-changing.
For once in my life, I'm completely speechless.
Then perhaps I should take this with me and read it more often. Nah.
It wasn't bad, guys. Come on.
Let's see if there's anything in these drawers. Damn. Nothing but personal effects and more stationery.
Don't forget the first rule of detective work. If there's nothing useful inside, check underneath and between.
Ah, yes, of course. Thanks for the reminder.
Now this is intriguing.
What am I finding? I'm not going to warn you again, you disgusting mulatto thug. Stay away from my daughter and my house, or I'll kill you. Something or other. So, or I'll kill you myself. Yeah. So this was a warning she must have sent to Albert. Okay. Anything else? Got a mirror.
You've got some huge bags under your eyes, Miles. Reminds me of the case we had on that strange train.
Don't remind me.
Okay. So I'm going to write down the notes here to this because it looks like it's do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do is the, what is that? The G scale? The C, I don't know what it says. I can't really tell what it says. The something scale. So it would be C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Okay. So we're going to go back and try that harpsichord. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else in here. Right? Okay, no, we're going back out. Is there another set
Nothing else of interest in there.
Okay. And...
Oh, dear God, no, please, let's not expose ourselves to that drivel again.
For the love of God and all that is holy, please don't read another freaking poem. Okay. So, oh, yeah, there's drawers here I didn't check. Let us check those drawers real quick.
This is always my favorite part of detective work.
Gone through people's stuff?
Nothing inside but a bunch of extra doilies.
How disappointing. Maybe you should steal one, just to spite Madame Dupree for not giving us any good clues.
No, Bill.
You're no fun, Miles.
All right, let's go back in here. All right, let's go to the harpsichord. So it's C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So, so it's so yeah, I don't know. Okay, I thought it might mean something, but apparently it does not. Okay, let's go talk to Andrew, the sun. Okay.
I have some questions for you.
Oh, goody.
Okay.
How do you typically spend your days, Mr. Montgomery? What are your interests?
Oh, a little of this and a little of that. Nothing as exciting as what you do, I'm sure. Ooh, Tell me, do most bad people start crying when you catch them? I'll bet it's a laugh riot to see them sobbing away.
No, Mr. Montgomery, most of them don't.
Well, that's a real shame, isn't it?
What can you tell me about your sister, Juliet?
I'm reminded of a famous quote, Mr. Fordham. Parting is such sweet sorrow. Let us part on good terms and avoid the subject altogether, please.
Okay.
What can you tell me about Madame Dupree?
She came back from the dead. I couldn't believe it. My mother, resurrected, just like Jesus.
Yes. I heard you're the one who accused Mr. Martin of the crime.
Oh, no, I already talked to the police about that. I don't want to think about it right now.
Okay.
That's a rather exotic bird you've got.
I like looking at him. He has such pretty colors, doesn't he?
That he does.
You know, I've always wondered what he might taste like. Is that bad, do you think?
I really couldn't say, Mr. Montgomery. Thanks for your time.
No, thank you for yours.
This is ridiculous. He won't be of any use in this state. If it takes him as long to snap out of it as it takes you, we'll be waiting around here until noontime tomorrow. There has to be a way to bring him back to his senses. Maybe that quack outside knows something of use.
I don't know, I get the feeling. It just felt like he was faking it.
Doctor, may I ask you a few questions?
Please be my guest.
May I ask exactly what kind of sedative you gave Andrew?
A simple tincture of laudanum. It's what I give all my nervous patients.
He seems a bit out of sorts.
Pot? Meat kettle.
It can have that effect, but it usually wears off in half a day or so.
Is there a way to bring him out of his condition sooner?
A stimulant would have the opposite effect, but I wouldn't recommend mixing the two. It could have potentially harmful effects on his heart.
Oh, of course. I wasn't planning on doing anything of the sort. I was just curious.
It's cute how you act like you have no experience in these matters. It's almost convincing.
Okay.
Tell me about Madame Dupree.
She is a great woman and a pillar of the community. I cannot imagine why something like this could happen to her, or how someone could be capable of such a barbaric feat. Though this ordeal has been terrible, I am confident she will overcome. The power of her physical constitution is surpassed only by her strength of character.
Do you think he'd say the same things if he wasn't on her payroll? I highly doubt it.
Okay.
Did you examine Madame Dupree after she reanimated?
Of course. Physically, she appeared to be in fine health aside from minor dehydration. I found no marks or bruising on her body. Mentally is a different story, however. She's remained in an unresponsive state ever since.
Do you have any opinions on what caused Madame Dupree to appear dead?
The most likely cause I can imagine is some sort of poison or toxin.
Okay.
What were the circumstances surrounding Madame Dupree's supposed death?
Her son, Andrew, sent for me a few days ago after finding her unconscious and unresponsive. As I was unable to detect a pulse or breath, I had no other recourse but to declare her deceased. I judged that Madame Dupree had likely suffered a sudden cardiac arrest. It was most shocking to be proven wrong at a funeral.
I can imagine. Where was the funeral held, by the way?
St. Denis Cemetery. Madame Dupree wished to be interred in the tomb of her father's family, name of Chesterton.
Perhaps I'll go have a look.
Okay. That's where the Chestertons thing was.
What
Okay.
leads you to believe Madame Dupree was poisoned?
The symptoms she experienced were consistent with prior cases of poisoning I've studied. And didn't the young man arrested have ties to some kind of black magic cult? There have been reported cases of these practitioners using poisons to make people appear dead, then commanding them to do their bidding. I recall reading about a man in the West Indies who was given tetrodotoxin, that's the toxic secretion from a pufferfish, declared dead and buried. He appeared alive in his village some 20 years later.
Doesn't that seem a bit far-fetched to you, Doctor?
Facts are facts, Mr. Fordham. Surely someone in your line of work can appreciate that.
Okay, let's ask him about himself.
How long have you been Madame Dupree's private physician?
5 years, and I've been practicing medicine for the past 30. I still spend a couple of days a week treating patients at Riverview Asylum.
Oh, good. Maybe if you're lucky, he could be your doctor someday.
30 years is quite a long time. You must have seen some incredible advances in the field of medicine.
I have, yes. I can only wonder how things will change with all this talk of ethericity. There's speculation it can be used to restore necrotic tissue and instantly heal broken bones, among other things. If you ask me, a good bloodletting will never go out of fashion.
Those are all the questions I've got for now.
I hope I answered them adequately.
Well, I can't deny that the evidence against Mr. Martin is somewhat damning. If his mother was so sure of his innocence, she'd surely have explained what all those things behind the curtain were. I don't think Upton will appreciate being proven wrong. But like Fellows said, facts are facts.
So, this is the Weeping Angel fountain.
This fountain probably looked nicer when it was working. But right now, it's just there's an angel on the fountain. But it doesn't look like it's weeping. This would probably be too risky a place to hide something anyway.
Okay. That was my thought process. So going back inside. Right. Go up to my casebook. So, question residents at Duprey Manor. Got it. Investigate the rented room. Find a stimulant to bring Andrew out of his stupor. Investigate the Chesterton tomb. Return to Upton and accuse Albert Martin. Yeah, no, we're not going to do that. I need to find a stimulant to bring Albert out of his stupor, and that stimulant is upstairs. Okay. So he still remains the most likely. Landlady's note. Okay, letter to Andrew. Yep, got it. Okay. So close this. Upstairs. That was her room. It's in here. It's over here.
The bottle is empty.
Interesting. Okay, so I got to find that Weeping Angel
The science
thing.
of pharmacology. I'm sure it's riveting stuff.
Okay.
Decadent.
Yeah.
I can only... Is this really the best?
Okay, so if do I have? So I'm out of stimulant. So the Weeping Angel, right? We got to find the thing with the Weeping Angel, but that could be at the university. That could be at the university, actually. Okay, tweezers, Fellows testimony, Tennyson's vigor pills. An empty bottle of pills designed to energize even the laziest of people, recommended for use by men only, contains 98% benzoyl methylecgonine. Interesting. Okay, so do we have benzoyl methylecgonine anywhere? Let's get out of here. The workstation, no, okay. Cylindrograph, yeah. Huh. So that gets rid of the music. Got it. Interesting. Okay, so yeah. So if I go to map, right? What do we have now? We have Forest Lane. We have the cemetery. Duprey Manor, Bow Street. Back to University of New Bretagne. I'm just not certain here. Did Albert Martin really do what he was accused of? No. Question the residents of Duprey Manor. Of course I couldn't question Madame Dupree. Of course I couldn't... well, actually, I don't know if I could... I didn't leave. I just went to the map.
Her eyes are glazed over, and she's got... If we didn't know she'd been buried alive...
Okay, we got that already.
With her vast sums of wealth, instead, she used...
Okay, so that doesn't do any good there. All right, so let's exit here. We'll go back out to the map. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. Next episode, right, we'll go to the cemetery. Because a weeping angel could be found in the cemetery, right? So we will go to the cemetery, and we will check out both the family grave of Madame Dupree and the weeping angel, and see if we can find that stimulant. Then we'll go back to the house, finish questioning Andrew, maybe get to talk to Madame Dupree. I don't know if that'll trigger it. And we can maybe, if we have time, also go to Forest Lane. So listen, that's going to do it for this week's episode. If you like what you're watching, hit that like and subscribe button down below. Tell your family, tell your friends. If you have any suggestions, tips or tricks, anything like that, put them in the comments below, because I will read them. Please, for the love of God and all that is holy, no spoilers. And with that, I will catch you next Monday for another episode of Lamplight City. Peace. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more, check out the playlist above, or watch what YouTube tells you to on the right. Oh yeah, and subscribe.